Good morning. Gossiping Gayle, Nosey Rosie, and Debbie Downer. I think all of you have had people like this in your lives. Of course, we're doing part two of toxic friendships. And the reason I'm doing a part two is because the viewer who brought me this story originally loved the first show, but said I didn't really expound on some of the things that she was going through. So, my viewer, this is for you. Not going to name names, but I hope you enjoy the show. I want to start with some good news though. In my first show on toxic friendships, I talked about maintaining long distance friendships and how difficult it can be, especially when your schedules don't mesh. And I have this own experience with my BFF. I've known this lovely person for 35, well, a long, long time, actually almost 40 years now, which I'm scared to admit, and I'm sure she doesn't want to hear. And her schedule and mine never really clicks because she works all different hours, and I turn my phone off, and she's more able to talk at night. I don't talk on the phone at night. So we made a solution, and actually, we had a wonderful conversation on Sunday. We talked for 2 hours, uninterrupted. My husband was out, and she had a day off, a rare day off work. And I think this is important if you want a long distance relationship to work. She and I have been doing this now for, I can't believe I just did the counting, 16 years. And it's tough because she was the kind of person that I would see her, I would talk to her every day when she lived in Lancaster, and we would go out to play darts or out for dinner or out to drinks, or she'd come to my house. She was my go-to dog sitter. I mean, she was just always there. And, we were there for each other. When she had her gallbladder out, I moved into her house with her and took care of her. And when she moved away, it was like a piece of me moved away. It was very difficult. I lost a piece of myself, something that was so part of my daily routine, talking with her or spending time with her. But now what we started doing is I said to her, you can call me at night and leave me a message on my phone and give me your schedule. So this is what she started doing. She calls me at night, knowing I'm not going to pick up the phone, but she leaves me a message, hey, let's catch up. I have off on this day. And I text her or call her back. I will text her back. I will say, great, Jason's going to be out doing this or that. We can have a nice private chat. Because y'all know when girlfriends talk, they talk about their significant others. So you don't want the husband in the house. And so that's how we are making it work now. She calls, she leaves me a message. I have off on Wednesday. Give me a call after Jason leaves for work. And we can talk, and we usually talk for at least 2 hours. It's a really fun time. So it's a good way to maintain contact and to keep caught up on each other's lives. And you got to make sure that even if a lot's going on in your life, like in this particular situation Sunday, I had a lot to tell her, but I made sure that I stopped and said, okay, now tell me what's happening with you. I've had a lot of drama the last couple of months, but what's going on with you? How's work going? How's the family? All that kind of stuff. I made sure to give her time to tell me things and catch me up on her life, and to also show her that I am interested in her life, which I am. So that's a great way to make a long distance relationship work, and where you don't keep missing each other. I don't call her during the week anytime I feel like it, because I never know when she's working, and I don't want to interrupt her at work because her job's important. And on the other hand, at night, I turn off my phone, I charge my phone, and I spend evenings with my husband, and I go to bed really early. And so this is the way we're making it work. Now, let's get to some relationships that don't work. Let's start with the gossiping Gayle. We all know that person, right? When you have a friend, you really hope, right, that if you say something to them and you say, look, this is between you and me, I don't want anybody else to know right now. And within 24 hours, that person has taken great pleasure in telling anybody that she meets. It's spread all over the place. You find that out pretty quick about people. And the way to know that somebody's a gossiping Gayle, male or female, because there's men gossiping Gayles too, is if they come into your house and start telling you stuff about mutual friends that were told to them in confidence, and they're telling you, and then they say, but don't tell anybody because it's a secret. Well, see, it wasn't told to me as a secret, it was told to you as a secret, and you just told me, which you probably weren't supposed to do. So that means that you know that that person, if they're talking about a mutual friend and telling their secrets, if you tell this person your secrets, they're going to tell somebody else. So you never tell a gossiping Gayle or a gossiping Galen anything that you don't want spread around. Because you know they don't keep secrets, they don't keep confidences. And I think one of the most important things about a good friend is that they will keep confidences. I keep confidences. The only time I will share something is I will share things on the show that people have told me, but I get their permission and then I don't use their name. I just say, a viewer said this, or a viewer PM'd me this, or I got an email. Maybe you want to do this show. But I don't call people out. And I certainly don't go to mutual friends who also know the person who talked to me in confidence and spread a rumor or spread the gossip. I don't do that. But some people do. So you have to look out for that kind of a toxic friendship. And then, of course, it's the Debbie Downer, who is so excited to share bad news with you about your husband or significant other. Yeah, I saw your husband out on the boat with another woman. Yeah, I think I touched on this in the first episode of Toxic Friendships. But it gets even worse because what my viewers shared was kind of a comical story. And the joke was on the Debbie Downer friend who decided to make sure that my viewer knew that her husband was seen in his car with another woman. And my viewer actually started to chuckle. She was pissed off at the friend. But she said, yeah, guess what? That was his mother. Oh, but see, again, it depends on your type of friendship. Some women would like to know if someone saw their husband out gallivanting with another woman. But if it's a made-up story or the people don't have their facts straight, then you know what? That's a toxic friend. Because men and women can be friends as well. My husband has female friends. I have male friends. In fact, that's the topic of a show for next week. The way that some people just cannot understand or fathom how a man and a woman can be friends and not be having sex with each other. But it happens. And it can happen. And I guess that's another form of toxic friendship, is when you just assume that if a man and a woman are spending time together, they have to be having sex. They can't just be spending time together because they enjoy each other's company. So that's a topic of another show. But the Debbie Downer is also someone who never brings good news. Now, sadly, my conversation with my BFF on Sunday, there wasn't a lot of good news on my end to share because I've been through a lot of stress. But I did try to share some good news. And again, friendship is about being there for each other in really hard times. You need someone to talk to. But I would say always try to bring something positive into the conversation, or at least end it on a positive note. The good news is I'm still alive. Or the good news is, hey, I just got a blood test and I don't have diabetes. But I still have those stomach pains. But the person who is constantly, every time you go to see them or you talk to them, it's always, oh, my hemorrhoids are acting up, or yeah, I'm in the PMS, or I'm having the night sweats. That kind of gets old. We're all guilty of doing it, by the way, myself included. We always want to moan and groan about the bad stuff and not concentrate on the good. And I think no matter who we are or what we're going through, we can all find something positive to talk about. Or even like my BFF and I did on Sunday, to end our conversation, we started reminiscing about, stuff that happened in the past that was terrible at the time, but we can now laugh about, like her gallbladder surgery. I mean, it wasn't pleasant at the time, but now we can look back on it and laugh, like how sexy the guy who took her blood in the ER was. But she hates needles, so she didn't even look at him, and we were like, oh my God, he is so cute. You need to give him your number. So we had a few laughs at the end of the conversation, and I think that's important. Now, the biggest problem that most people have, my viewer included, is the nosy Rosie. Okay? Once again, this depends on the two people in the friendship. But the nosy Rosie is always in your business. All aspects of your business, your sex life, how much money you make, what you spend on things, what's in your house. My viewer said one of her friends came in and started taking pictures of her house. Now, when I went to visit my BFF, I did take pictures of her house because I wanted to share it with my husband, who didn't go on the trip with me. And her house was gorgeous, and I wanted to show it to him. But I didn't put it on Facebook or share it with the world. It was just for me to say, this is where she lives, isn't it beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But some people are taking these pictures to say, oh, look what she has, or look what she doesn't have. And it's offensive. And if it is offensive to you, then you need to say, why are you taking pictures of my house? Is that really necessary? If they're a true friend, you can say that to them, and it should not ruin the friendship. You can say it as a joke. What, you going to publish this in a magazine? You better pay me. Make a joke about it, but let them know that you're uncomfortable with it. And then we have the, I gotta know what everything costs, and I'm going to tell you what I pay for everything, friend. This I did experience, and it's funny because I didn't notice it until my husband Jason picked up on it. We had made some new friends, and all of a sudden, he says, do you notice that every time you say something nice about something they have, they tell you how much they paid for it? I'm like, no, I didn't notice that. And then I started noticing it. Like, oh, wow, that's a really nice chair. Oh, yeah, $200. I got it on sale. What? I mean, I didn't ask what it cost. But then there's the reverse, too, where they'll walk into your house and say, oh, my God, I love that sofa. How much did you pay for it? Now, if you don't care, then you can just say, oh, we got it, $800. But if you do care and you think, I'm not comfortable talking about this, and I didn't ask how much your crap costs and it's really none of your business, then just say it. But say it as a joke at first. Yeah, that's really none of your business. And it's a nice couch. It's a nice sofa. It's really none of your business. We could afford it. And change the subject. Either they get the hint or they don't. But if it bothers you enough that you're going to dwell on it, then say something. But make it a joke. Don't make it offensive. Don't go, really? Seriously? That's none of your goddamn business. Just make it a joke first. And then if it continues to happen, then you can go the extra mile and say, I'm not comfortable talking about what we pay for things. And I really don't care what you pay for things either. If I compliment you on something you have, I don't need to know what it costs. And of course, there are some people who tell you what it costs because they want to tell you how much money they can afford to spend. They're not telling you they got it cheap. They're telling you, oh yeah, it's the best on the line. It costs $1,200. Which in turn, I turn around and say, oh my God, well, I have the same appliance and mine costs $500. So I'm ahead $700 that I can spend on something else. And my oven does the same thing your oven does. People who have to have brand names and all this bullshit. No, see, that's show-offy. Because I don't care what name something has on it as long as it does its job. And I'm never going to spend $2,000 for a washer or $1,200 for a stove. That's just never going to happen. But if you do it, that's great. But I don't need to know about it. Because I don't care. My oven bakes cookies in the same amount of time your oven bakes cookies. And then I've got $700 extra in the bank. So who wins? Me. Now, the other Nosey Rosie issue is, of course, the elephant in the room, sex. Any of you have friends that are either constantly talking about their sex life and how awesome it is? Well, they're lying. Come on. If you have a friend who all they talk about is they have sex 3 times a day, 7 days a week, and it's always awesome, blah, 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 well, that's probably not true. And why are they telling you this? And the other Nosey Rosie issue with sex is the one who's constantly asking about your sex life. So how many times a week do you do it? How do you do it? What positions? Is he good? Do you have an orgasm every time? How long can he last? I mean, these kinds of questions, depending again on your friendship status, can make people uncomfortable. My viewer said that one of her friends is constantly asking about her sex life. And my question right away when I messaged back was, does she not have a sex life? Is she trying to live vicariously through you? Because, see, me personally, I don't have a problem talking about sex with my girlfriends. But I'm honest about it. If we're in a dry spell, I'll say it. Because it's natural. It's normal to be in a dry spell. If we do a little experimentation, I'll tell a friend about it if they care to listen. I don't have a problem with it. But what I have a problem with is someone trying to one-up me. Like if I say, Jason and I did this the other night, and it was awesome, and they're like, oh, that's nothing. You should see what, Johnny and I do. Well, again, really? I mean, I've met your husband. I don't think so. Once again, as with all friendships, especially really close ones, you've got to just talk. Talk to each other. Say, you know what? Again, jokingly, my sex life is really private. Or my husband doesn't appreciate me talking about our sex life with other people. That's private. It's really none of your business. And change the subject. So, how about those Eagles? Or look at this weather we're having. Change the subject. Make sure that in a nice way, and again, I'm saying start nice, because if they keep going, then you got to get rude about it. Come on. But start with, I'm not comfortable talking about this. It's private. Now, you could get the real bitchy response of, oh, I get it. You don't have sex anymore, right? Or he's no good. Or, ugh. And then you just go, you know what? I have the kind of sex life I don't have to brag about. I don't have to talk about. I'm just fine. I hope you're doing okay because it sounds like you're the one who's having a problem with sex, since you're so interested in hearing about my beautiful sex life. So you can make it fun at first, and then if it keeps continuing, then again, depending how much you care about keeping the friendship going, you can start getting a little more snarky about it. I do think having honest conversations with our friends is so important. If someone is doing something that truly is harming the friendship in your eyes, where you don't feel good, once again, if you don't feel equal and good, if you feel bad after hanging out with your friend or talking with your friend, then probably it's a toxic friendship for you. Your friend probably hangs up and thought it was the best conversation ever because they got what they wanted. They got under your skin. And sadly, that is what some friends want to do. They want to upset you while pretending that they care about you. They want to get information from you while pretending they just want to make sure that no one's hurting you, or did you hear about this, or whatever. So make sure that your friends that you surround yourself with that are important to you have your best interest at heart. It's the same as the last show. That's the message. You don't want friends who take joy in your misery and are miserable when you have joy. That is the wrong kind of friend. You don't want friends who try to one-up you, who are jealous of you. You know, oh, I love your new sofa. How much did it cost? Oh, well, my sofa cost more. Or my oven's better than your oven because I paid more money for it. See, my response to that is, no, you're just stupid. Because why would I pay more money for the same shit? Just because it's got a tag on it. It's like those designer jeans that everybody used to have because it said Jordache. You know what? Jeans are jeans. I don't care what's on the back pocket. I care that they fit and that I can afford them. And I'm not ashamed to say I can't afford something. I don't need to prove that I have more money than a friend. Because that's not being a friend. I'm not a friend if I have to tell people that I can afford to spend more money than they can on something. That's being a toxic friend. At the end of the day, please, just talk to each other. And don't keep ruminating over a friend that has become toxic. Just end the relationship. Obviously, you're going to feel better if you end the relationship. You're going to be relieved and you won't have to deal with it anymore. And then you can go on and hopefully forge new friendships, real friendships, equal footing friendships where you both get something out of the friendship and you can share your feelings with each other and not worry about the nosy Rosie, not worry about the gossiping Gayle, and certainly not worry about the Debbie Downer. Being able to listen to a friend and also to talk to a friend is one of our most important things. Friendship is sometimes a more important relationship than a romantic relationship. Some of our friends have known us since we were children ourselves. We've known each other all our lives. We've seen each other grow up and go through all the growing pains, all the heartache, and all the joy. And if we are real friends, we rejoice in the good times and we cry with our friends in the bad times. If your friendship is vice versa, where your friend rejoices while you cry and cries when you're successful and joyful, then you have a toxic friendship. And you need to do something about it for your own protection, your own sanity, and your own happiness. Have a good day, everybody. Political Paula is out.